Well, Chiefs Kingdom, it is time to start talking about those Cowboys. We're going to get into what they're doing, what they can bring to this contest, and how your Chiefs are going to get ready to have, a good time, but a good time getting a win out there. This is Locked On Chiefs and RGR Football and Chief in the North. We're putting it all together. For those of you who don't know us already, I'm Ryan. Let's get after it. This is RGR Football. Hey, Chiefs Kingdom. Yes, I just finished recording Locked On Chiefs, so you can check that out on that channel. Then we have this channel. Dan's here tonight. Yes, this is the Chief of the North stream, but the Chief of the North himself, the family of the North took over. I had something come up, so you're going to get me and Dan tonight. We're going to go over our thoughts. We're going to answer some of your questions and really get into what they can take from the last game and move forward. And there's a lot to it. And quite frankly, I think there's a lot of pressure on this team right now. How you doing, Dan?
So for some reason, I'm also hearing you talk to me, and then I'm hearing the video playing in the background somewhere, and I have to find it because this is ridiculous. The issues that I'm having. I'm going to back out really quick and try to get this figured out.
I'll roll with it because this happens all the time, you guys. The technology behind these things, the fact that we're all spread out across the country, it always helps. But I know I don't look good right now to you. I am absolutely certain of that, and hopefully it'll clear up when Dan gets back. As you all know, my internet is terrible out here up in the mountains where I live, but you do get to hear us. We are going to talk about the Cowboys, and I know you guys will have questions. Looks like Judge has already asked one. We'll get into that. And if you guys want to support the channel, we certainly appreciate it. The best way to do it is through the Super Chats and through the store that has our RGR gear on it. So, Judge, thank you very much. We appreciate the support. I know Seth does too, in light of him not being able to make it tonight. I think it was a taekwondo is what it was. That better, Daniel?
So, apparently, even though Discord was closed, not even open up, it was still playing the video on the RGR videos page. So I'm sitting here listening, while also listening to you talk to me directly. So that was a experience.
That's way too much of me. I know how my wife feels, so I'm sorry, bud.
It was just like 10 seconds delay, and I'm just like, okay, I'm listening to wait for you to say my name so I know exactly when to talk because this one's behind by 10 seconds.
Always a fun challenge. And folks, if you're in the Discord, maybe this might be a specific thing about that feedback loop. I would shut that off over there and just come back over to the channel. If you are in Discord, I'm glad you guys are here. I didn't realize it played through the site, so that's great. And if you guys want to be on Discord, all you got to do is join the memberships. The button's under there over there under Dan, and join as a rookie. If you do, make sure you email me because that's how you get your invite. Have new folks joining all the time, so if you're interested, perfectly fine, totally optional. It's just one of the perks for the members. Another members is you're going to get a flat out video likely tomorrow from me. If you're all pro or elite, that's when you get what's going to be kind of sparky tomorrow. I'm also going to give you guys my keys to victory tomorrow. We're not going to do a traditional game plan like we've done in the past. We're going to try this shorter version. We'll see what you guys think. If you want something longer, we'll move to it. But Fridays have been low visibility around here, so I want to make sure that we get you guys what you want. But if you would spread the word and help get more people watching, we would appreciate that as well. So back to Judge's question. Dak is the best QB in the league this year against the blitz. What's the plan to limit the Cowboys? And I dug into this, and I will tell you this. He is the best against the blitz. He's not the best against pressure. And what that means, the differentiation is don't send the extra guy. This is all on them to get pressure with the front four without having to send the fifth pass rusher. That's what it's all about.
So it's actually kind of funny that that's brought up because now we have their offensive line getting healthy too. Tyron Smith is going to start on Sunday. Hi, Avery. My daughter is here to give her 2 cents as well.
Hi. How doing?
You're going to be a little shy. So
she's like, oh, there's a chair.
Really, Dak is the one thing that the Broncos did to beat them was to not blitz at all. Okay. You're just gonna chill back there, and that's what they did. They just didn't blitz, and they forced him to try to go down the field, much like Mahomes has had to do. And my dog's also making an appearance. You
Sweet.
guys are just getting the whole scene today.
The whole family routine. I like it.
Bye. Oh, you're coming back? Okay. So the Raiders, they've had trouble against cover 2 this season. So what did Spags do? He played more cover 2 than he has all season. And that shows me that he's willing to adjust a little bit and play something he's not necessarily always comfortable with. So maybe this week we see him do more of just like sit back and force Dak to do what Mahomes had to do all season and just trunk down the field. Granted, they have the best offenses defenses played against this season, so that will be its own challenge.
Yeah, it definitely is. But that's really what it comes down to, judges. Can you get the pressure with 4? Can you limit everything else? It's going to be a big thing to stop Zeke, too. He had a pretty good game last week. He's had times where he can go off, but we've talked about this. The other thing that goes around with pressuring Dak is putting him in a position where he has to drop back and throw, and that he can't just hand it off or dump it off. That's a key ingredient as well. Thank you, Judge. I'm sure we'll get more from you later. I want to say a couple of shout outs here because looks like Holly's in the house.
How's it going, everybody?
Sean is in the house. Glad you guys made it. You guys, you know the crew around here. Sean, Aaron, Morrow's in the house. Aaron will be watching Thursday Night Football live. You can join him in the Discord if you are one of the members that is in that. And they're going to do it live. I think FLDB is going to help him out too. I think he's in the chat as well. And then obviously Stevie Gooch and all the 9 yards. Rogue Head Huddle comes out tomorrow afternoon. Like I said, you'll get that Keys video from me in the morning. So that said, I really see this as an opportunity for them to grab the momentum. Yes, they're happy, and yes, they had a good time the other day, but they gotta make it 2 in a row when the other defense isn't helping them so much. I do expect to see too high most of the day. After the performance of the Raiders, I was gonna say they're never gonna see single high again, except they will play the Raiders again. I'm sure they'll do it again. So there is
I'm
that.
not so sure about that.
I don't know. People are stubborn. And just like you were getting at too, Steve Spagnuolo needs to not be stubborn too. He needs to avoid the compulsion to blitz as well against this particular quarterback.
He doesn't have really much of a choice because Dak has been that good. And if you're going to blitz and you're going to force your corners to play one-on-one against CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, that's a recipe for disaster. That they're not going to be able to hold up. They're 2 exceptionally good route runners. You're blitzing Dak, you're just giving them exactly what they want. Their offensive line's healthy. Zeke is one of the best, if not the best, pass protection back in the NFL. You're putting them right in the position that they want to be in. So Spags does have to do a little bit different. He's got to, I'm hoping to see not as drastic of dropbacks of his safety rotations, because I've been watching a bit of the defense, and if you're up at the line of scrimmage and then you're supposed to bail, that's a bad position to be in. And Spags loves to do it because he's all about trying to confuse the quarterback, but Dak knows what he's doing. They're going to be prepared. Kellen Moore is one of the up-and-coming best offensive coordinators in the NFL. They are designing a ton of really excellent play designs, and they're executing them at a high level. I'm telling you right now, Kellen Moore is going to have Spags figured out in some aspect. If he continues to drop safeties from that part, he's going to hit them where it hurts in a couple different spots, and that'll put the defense in a bad position that they don't want to be in. So I'm hoping to see less of the drastic changes and more of just little tiny ones that forces Dak to think a second longer than he wants to.
And I think they probably have, I'm guessing, a suite of plays, at least 3-4, that when they get that flat look, when they drop everybody down to try to confuse what they're going to do, they know where they want to go. And it's just beating somebody to the point. And Michael brings up a good point here. He didn't like that Spags was so excited for Dan. It seems like the staff really feels like saving face for the guy is his priority rather than letting the best ones play. I get that. And I think it is, these are personal relationships we're always talking about, right? So I don't mind it so much that you were happy for him. I don't know that it was that he got to play. It's that he actually did something with it. I think that is probably more of it. But if we see that bounce back where there's no way in the world that Dan Sorensen should play more than a third of the snaps. They do still feel that he is their best bet as their third safety. And if that's the way they feel, I can live with that. I don't like it. I'd rather you just blitz him constantly or keep him in the box, but that's the way it is. If you start to see that creep up where it's creeping towards the number of snaps that Juan's playing, then I can understand where you're at, Michael, and then be really frustrated with it. I do feel like they've limited Neiman a little bit lately.
Yes, he has not been on the field very much.
Now that Hitch is back, as long as nobody gets hurt, I feel like they've turned the corner on that kind of lack of decision in my personal view, but you never know.
I mean, we're starting to see what the defense should have been from the start of the season. Who's playing in the positions that they should have been playing in all along. The players that shouldn't be on the field so much aren't on the field as much. Now they have to figure out the Nick Bolton situation, which I'm hoping. Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think Spags is going to be like, okay, Nick, you should be the starting Mike linebacker. It's going to be Hitchens unless he gets nicked up again. And they're just going to have to figure it out because the Raiders even did it on Sunday, attacking him when you have the cover two safeties. And you can attack Hitchens down the middle of the field because when you're playing that too high, essentially you're playing almost like three, but Hitchens is responsible for that deep middle third. And guess what? That's a recipe for disaster. And you can't have him running with the wide receiver, running with the tight end down the middle of the field because he can't keep up. And when he's running this way, he can't find the football. So yeah, just gonna drop right there. So
yeah, I mean, let's talk about that though. The Tampa 2 is a classic defense, right? Not everybody has a Derek Brooks. Not everybody has an.
That's why they're gone.
Exactly.
That's why they don't play him anymore because you can't.
Well, and even if you could, those guys were good at that defense. This is not something Hitch grew up in.
No.
This is not his skill set. That's why you've seen Tyron have to do it from the nickel spot or when they drop him down and give him a little bit of a robber look. It's funny because now they have the ability to disguise a true robber, which is hanging out in the middle that doesn't necessarily have an assignment to letting him run the middle gauntlet and be that middle defender. And that's a nice thing too, because then it still allows you to play that style of high two without having to give it away. And I do enjoy that part. It's just that everybody knows that they have to attack it now. It becomes a little bit tiresome. And I saw a lot of comments about the O-line. I wanted to get Sean's here first. Sorry, Joseph, I'll come right back to you. Sean asked a good question. Should Ingram be the new defensive leader and give Pringle more reps? I will tell you this. Everything that I know about Melvin Ingram, and I know people who covered him when he was in San Diego and everything else, he's a lead by example guy. He's a good player. I wouldn't call him elite even at his height, but I would call him very good. But he is not a team first, like stand-up leader kind of guy. He will put out and show you how you have to keep up with him by pushing you, man on man, not like stand in front of a room, gather the troops, be the out front leader, in my opinion. Do you see something different than that, Dan?
Not really. The way that he's addressed basically coming to Kansas City has shown you how he wants to lead. He be like you said, by example. He's coming, he's playing. You don't hear him talk very much. You don't hear him do much except for want to go out there and show what he's all about. And I think that that's exactly kind of what this defense needs a little bit of. You have some guys that like to talk out a little bit more. And I know that some people don't necessarily like how Justin Houston had to get pushed by practice squad defensive tackle. Sometimes everyone needs a little bit of jabbering, and I don't think you're ever going to need that with Melvin Ingram. He's never going to need someone to get in his ear because at this point in his career, he's trying to find that next payday, and whether it's going to be in Kansas City next year or it's going to be somewhere else, what he's trying to do is show people that, hey, yeah, I may be a rotational player now, but guess what? I can still bring it and I can still deserve to be around in the NFL. So for that aspect, I won't say new defensive leader. I think he's going to show everything he's already shown and more as the season goes along, why he's in Kansas City. And Pringle, I've been asking for Pringle to get more reps forever. And I think that how it played out last week with Josh Gordon and Byron Pringle bring your other two leading wide receiver snap count guys, that's how it should be going forward. And we're going to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree. Another little stat that came out about Pringle, I guess, PFF broke down like the best run blocking wide receivers in the league, and he came out on top. Yeah,
he's an exceptional run blocker.
Yeah, I would be rotating him in Gordon as well. I still feel like there's still a click coming for Josh Gordon.
Yep.
So you can't take him off the field. I do think that you need the rotation. My other question will be, does that eat into Noah Gray? Because I want to see more of Gray. I think people have slept on him so much, and there's so much attention on Kelsey. There's just holes in the defense for him. He's got to be able to exploit them. Joseph, thank you as always for the super chat. If the Chiefs lose this game, will your opinion change in regards of them being a contender? Not necessarily. Given how far they've come just in the last couple of weeks, I will say they still have a ways yet to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not something that I'd be concerned about. But it will make me a little bit more concerned of, can they get a home game? I think it's key to get a home game to be a contender. If you have to go on the road for the entirety of the playoffs, that makes it super difficult, especially knowing that you're coming off of 2 super long seasons that ended in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think they need to get it done. But I mean, are the Bengals for real at this point in the season? Are they going to hit a wall? Like, they've already started to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to hit a wall? Or because that's really the last big question mark game, right? After this, you get this and you get to the bye, you're in pretty darn good shape. And so I feel pretty good about that part of it.
Yeah, it really will depend on how they lose this game. If they go back to doing let's say that Dallas gets up early and then they continuously do what they've done this season when they get frustrated and go back to just trying to push down the field, not attacking the zones and not taking what's given to them, then yes, I will be very concerned, because that shows me that when you get uncomfortable, you go to things that are generally comfortable, and they're not working with the defenses we're seeing. So that's not what you need to be at this point in the season. It's week 11 now.
Yeah.
If this is what they do, this is who they are, and they can't change pretty much. At this point, it's hard to really get it out of your system. You have to work against the grain when things aren't comfortable. And I think Mahomes has shown, and the offense has kind of taken that road a little bit. Obviously, the Raiders were like, hey, guess what? You can do whatever you want to, because we don't want to play cover 2 or cover 4 or cover 6. We're going to have our cover 3, and we're just going to let you do whatever. That helped him get more comfortable and more confident. So I'm hoping that translates into it. But like I said, again, it all matters on the way that they lose this game. And I'm going to address everybody that's coming in here. I know that a lot of you wanted to see Seth. I've already seen a comment about me being an imposter. So I know that Seth is usually here, and I am not in the north. I understand that. I apologize. Seth is not able to be here. He's with his family. I am filling in, and I apologize. I know
you don't have to apologize for nothing. He's the one who couldn't make it.
Smart as he does on this stream.
A couple of people asking about Watts. Watts does a lot of things, and he too had a very big nose for the ball when he first came out of college. That fell off because of the injury and some other things, but I'd like to see him get more opportunities to show that off again. I agree.
I would too. Just
Angry German, I'm with you. Right. Let's see. If you guys need more info, hit Aaron in the chat. Yep, it is for Thursday Night Football. And I think it's just like a watch along party. If you guys have ever seen Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks do theirs, it's a similar kind of thing. I just don't think Discord will let you put the game up behind you. If they had that, I'd be doing it. I'd tell you that. But let's see. A couple other questions. Oregon Fishing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the experts out in the announcing the Chiefs' demise were greatly exaggerated. I mean, they have the opportunity to prove them wrong. Certainly the guys that were calling Patrick broken, or the ones that were or Orlovsky, that his mechanics are all wrong. His mechanics has always been wrong.
Yeah, right.
It's not that big a change.
That one I always found pretty funny. I'm like, Dan, what have you been watching the last 4 years? Has he changed?
Right?
No, this is what Mahomes has always done. And that's why I was so frustrated with people talking about how, he needs to stop doing this. 3rd and long, he's getting to 10 yards, 11 yards behind line of scrimmage every time. And he will do it every single time. Okay. That's not going to change. Maybe every once in a while it changes because he sees something really, really quick and it's wide open. But generally, he's going to go back there. Okay. That's just how it works. And then the mechanic stuff, the footwork, literally every single year, it never gets brought up because he's been great. The one year that, we have a 3-game stretch where he's not great. Let's go ahead and analyze his footwork he's always had. So that's always been just kind of really, Come on, man. That's just
I will say
low-hanging
this
fruit.
though. I felt like he did earlier in the season, not the last 3 games, but earlier in the season, I did feel like he like left his feet more to throw balls, like the jump passes, the
Yeah,
things
that
like that.
one, that was weird.
Yeah, that was a concern, but that's not. It's a small piece of the mechanics. He's still the
Correct.
same guy. Lachlan, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Crazy how
Thank
5
you very
touchdowns, a
much.
400-yard game. Mahomes still gets a cold shoulder from TV personalities because it's the Raiders. Well, yeah, the Raiders are very popular franchise throughout history, but I think that's changing actually.
Yeah, the TV personalities, this is their job. Like, this is what they do. They're supposed to be guys that just can say whatever they want to and rile up fans.
Stir stuff up, exactly.
That's their job, is to take this giant spoon and say, "Hey guys, I'm just going to put this in your morning's coffee and just stir it around," because that's literally what they're supposed to do. Like,
Yeah.
when Ryan Clark is saying that Patrick Mahomes is broken, like it's what he was. He was. That's scripted. It is scripted for him to say stuff like that, because everybody knows that he's not broken. He's just never gone through a slump in his entire career, and then he finally had one, and everyone just wants to pile on. So that was written out for him. They had the apology like written up for whenever he got back on track. But this stuff's just, it's all scripted so people can click on their stuff, retweet their stuff, quote tweet their stuff, all of it. Like, that's just what it is.
It's all advertising dollars, folks. That's what it is. Rip Dylan, I'm going to call that, I think. Did you guys see Sausage banging the drum? I did hear that this afternoon. The Sherm is back. As a Connecticut guy, I'd love to see him back, hoping he returns to coach someday. I think he'd be a pretty good coach. I don't know how technical he is or anything like that. I've never interviewed the guy. Hopefully later in the season, you guys are going to hear from Mike Burton. He said he's willing to come back on the show. So
Awesome.
You'll see the current fullback. But yeah, I think that'd be great to see.
No, there it is.
It's Gooch calling you an imposter. Okay, I get it.
There it is.
Hey, cheers to Night Hunter for 5 months as a member. We appreciate you guys.
That's awesome.
Like, rolling that over. There's a number of year-long members already, including Gooch.
That's incredible.
It's really, really rewarding to see that happen. You guys have enjoyed the content enough to stay with it that long. So cheers, and welcome to all of you new members. I know there's been a bunch. And for those of you that are backing out of that or whatever, that's perfectly cool too. I know everybody's got a life and everybody's got stuff they got to do. So I'm glad for everybody that's here, including you, Gooch. Holly, hope you're feeling better. Stevie Keys,
Yes.
folks, and Gooch, you will see them tomorrow. Let's see what else we got in here. That's a good point, German. A pride game. I talked to one of their a guy that covers the Cowboys
Excuse me.
a couple weeks ago in preparation for this week, and then we couldn't make an actual appearance workout this week. But he was saying the same thing, like they keep getting in these positions where they should be winning better or should be winning more or should be playing, even when they win, should be doing X better or whatever. And he felt that like there's a lot of pride games going on for Dallas as well. And so like the coming together of those two this week, I think is going to be interesting to see who's really ready to make that statement. Like you, Gap Kid.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to, everybody's a professional. Everybody's got their own pride. They got to go out and do their things to stand up for themselves. That's right. You apologize to me, Laugh Loud. You have your own days. Oh, shut it.
That's okay. He can feel gypped or whatever he wants to feel.
You
He's
guys,
right, but he's wrong.
You guys want to see what it would look like if Dan wasn't here? Ouch. Right? Yeah. You have to look at my terrible pixelated picture like that. So yes, I appreciate Dan standing in.
I hope everyone else does too.
I'm sure they do. Gucci's just having fun.
I know.
ESPN did a worst loss of the franchise bit. They said the 96 playoff loss to the Colts is the KC's worst loss. Do you agree, or do you have another one?
Oh, I have another one.
Yeah, it was last year to the Bucks. That's easily the worst loss ever in the playoffs.
I don't know, man.
To be in that game with the trophy on the sideline and you lose it, there can't be a worse one.
I'm not so sure that they were ever going to win it with the offensive line. I don't fault like that much on the loss, like being a worse one. The one that lost to the Colts in, what was it, 2013, 2014?
Oh,
that was one of
the luck Yeah.
It was one of the worst playoff losses ever. I remember watching that with my wife, who was like my new girlfriend at the time, introducing her to football. And I'm like, oh, it's at halftime. They're up like so much. It's not that big a deal. Then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? They lose the game 45-44. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was frustrating. Oh man, I don't even want to relive that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, see? And you feel worse about that than you do the Super Bowl loss. I do.
No, I don't. No, I'd so much rather be like, to be able to grab that trophy and see it on the sidelines and know it wasn't coming my direction. I'd be mad. Cody, thank you for that. Dan does a good job with the film reviews.
Thank you, guys.
And it's cool because we do it differently, so you get different perspective when we each do one. Night. Norm, any concerns about our rookies hitting the wall as it pertains to the longer NFL season compared to the college season? You know, maybe a couple of them. Not the linebackers; those are pretty workman-like positions, and not the linemen. So, I mean, Josh Kano's been on the sideline all season.
Yep.
Noah Gray's barely played. So the two guys that I might worry about that are actually pretty fresh in my mind.
Yeah. And these guys, the offensive line, the linemen you were talking about, they've been doing this a long time. Like it's not really new to them. It's just different competition. And the rookie wall typically, from what I've seen anyway, it's really more from competition level so low, then you're jumping up to a starting level. Like we saw Morton hit it. That was a guy who really hadn't been. He switched positions too. It was a huge jump in talent from, what was it, Division 2, Division 3 into the NFL, playing against much bigger players than he's ever played against before, more talented guys. So yeah, I don't have any issues, especially because I think Bolton has been not just getting better, but more confident in himself, coming from Missouri, where, let's just say what it is, Missouri's not very good.
And you're kicking ground for the SEC, yeah.
Yeah, like you get stomped on every single week by some of these teams and offensive lines, and he's showing not just everybody else but himself that he can kind of hang for the most part and do what he's best at and be successful at that. So yeah, and like I said, Noah Gray is not playing, so there's no real wall imminent for him that I see. And you have Powell sitting on the practice squad, so
yeah, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no issues there.
It's Friday, he got nothing to do. Carter, thank you. I see what you did there, and I like it.
Ooh.
I'm sure Stevie will have them for you in the Rogue Head Huddle tomorrow. I will give you my keys in the morning. Dan, you got three things off the top of your head you want to see him get that done?
Yeah, it starts with the front four. They have to create pressure on their own against Dak Prescott. You have to get in his face. You have to be able to affect, much like they did with Derek Carr without blitzing. They were in his face all night long, and that put up a lot of just prayers. I think it'll be different with Dak, but yes, you have to get pressure with four. On the offensive side of the football, they are a little bit lucky. They're not playing Dexter and Lawrence or Randy Gregory in this game. Neither of them are going to play. And as much as you want to play opponents at their best, the offensive line with Andrew Wiley playing those guys and Micah Parsons is scary for me. But Micah Parsons himself, I think you can manage chip, help, stuff like that. He's probably, I personally think he's actually going to line up more against OBJ because of the speed element. He can beat him around the corner quickly.
Oh, Orlando, you mean?
Yeah, Orlando.
Okay. OBJ.
Orlando Brown Jr.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I have visions of blonde hair. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why I said it that way. I wanted to catch everybody off guard a little bit. But yeah, I think that they might try to get him more off of that side with speed, specifically because Orlando Brown's not the fastest out of his stance. So I think they might do that. Obviously, you're going to see him on both sides because they don't have a pass rusher that's their starter. So you're still going to see a lot of that.
But Dorrance Armstrong's going to be rushing Rock Chalk KU.
That's fine.
Okay, I just wanted to say that.
I mean, he's not Dexter Lawrence or Randy Gregory.
I just want to say he'll have a shot.
And Odozigwa in the middle there is going to have some fun. I think that they're going to have some challenges. The offensive line is going to have a fun day. It's even without their two starting guys, it's still going to be a challenge for them. So I want to see the offensive line get some movement up front, like we want to see every week. Just create some little holes for the running backs to get through. I think that will help get them started early, and that's going to help everything else. And the very last thing I need to see is the offense can't take a step backward with mentally. like we saw
Right.
earlier in the season. Mentally, you can't take a step backward now, because you do that, it's all out the window. So you have to continue to take what's in front of you. Mahomes has to keep continuing with his get to that drop, get into the hitch and throw the ball. Do a good job of continuing to get the ball out quickly, get in that rhythm, and then wait for the defense to adjust to you, and then hit them over the top. That's what they have to do.
Yeah. And you just got to stay you got to stay relaxed. You got to stay
Yep.
patient. And I think I agree with you. I think the number one thing, I won't put this in tomorrow, you guys, I'll talk X's and O's tomorrow, but I think the number one thing that's going to affect the outcome of, especially for this offense, is can you maintain that confident relaxation that you had last week?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it comes down to. And like you said, let the game come to you. Run your quick outs, run your run game, tempt them to bring one of those safeties down, or even cheat them. You get them to cheat 5 yards, and Patrick has a big window back there. The worst guy on their defense the last 2 weeks has been their free safeties, and it's been two different guys. So there is opportunity deep. And I do think that it just has to be something that you arrive to and that you don't go on attack first.
Correct.
Okay. Mark Lawrence, thank you very much for you. Rare for me to be able to catch you guys live. Nice that you made it then. That's awesome.
Yes.
We appreciate the insight that you and Dan give. Any chance you guys do a game stream, please? That'd be difficult.
That would be difficult to do.
I get a lot of people asking this all the time. And like, if I do it, I want to do it right. You know, where I pay the royalty fee and the game's behind me and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, because my problem is I take furious notes, you guys. That's how I do this, so that you get an actual opinion of something that is based on observation. If I'm yakking the whole time, we're not going to have much to talk about.
Well, that's where if we both did it, I'm less inclined to just sit there and write down notes, because I'll be like watching the game halfway through and I'm like, hey, I didn't write anything down for that. Like I've become so accustomed to taking mental notes on things that I see that it kind of gets locked up there. So if we ended up ever actually doing it, we could do it up here where we keep our pictures over in little tiny squares off to the side and still have the game up here so that we could watch it at the same time, and everyone else could do it as well. So it might take some figuring out, but it's still a difficult thing to try to get done, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff that both of us do. I watch the game with my family typically, so it's also taking time away from them, and I got to teach my daughter what everything about football, so she knows way more than everybody else by the time that she's 10. So
my kids, when they were 6, my girls could pick out what defensive shells they were in, and now they couldn't care less.
Yeah,
they're nearly teenagers, and it's all over. But I would have to.
It was there though. It was there.
My wife's usually in the room, and it's funny because she cusses at the television more than I do, and I don't know that she wants people to hear that. But we'll consider it, and thank you for the idea, Mark. If we can do it well, we'll do it at some point. Let's see. There was something I want to hit from Sean. Besides Dallas, is there anything else that you're worried about in the future?
Like this game, or this season? Worried? No.
Yeah, or even beyond. Okay.
So I'm not going to say like I'm worried about anything, because right now I would be upset if they didn't bring back Matthew after this year. I know that they're going to try that. Clark Hart talked about it today, that they're going to try to do so. But I think as it stands right now, you have the nucleus of this team, and I think you're always going to have that in Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill for the foreseeable future, especially on offense. I think Chris Jones will be here for a while, and really the nucleus is that you still have some really young, good players. If I'm just talking about like the team going forward, I'm not like super worried about it, but I what I'm worried about is fans getting, like, if they don't go to the Super Bowl this year. Like,
Right.
Like that's what I'm looking at the season, because as much as we all would love it to happen, the Chiefs at some point will not go to the Super Bowl. So you have to take into account that it's sometimes not getting to the Super Bowl is a good thing. I think that you need some rest. I think you need some higher draft picks at times. They're playing around with bottom 3 first-round draft picks for years, and they've been trading them off for proven players and things like that. But it's not always gonna work out for you, and you typically have to pay more for those guys. So that's the one thing I'm worried about.
That's where my worry comes into. The thing that I am most concerned about for the future is the balancing of the cap. What if the cap doesn't go up
Yeah.
as fast as they forecasted for? Because all the teams, including the Chiefs, have forecasts for what they expect to be able to spend every year for the next 6-10 years. If that doesn't happen, how fast does the crunch come? Because they're pretty tight right now. They have to make some decisions. And I know some people laughed at us last week for how dare you think that Tyreek was going to come back. Well, if you guys think that they're going to let Tyreek Hill get out of this thing, just close your eyes and imagine the offense without him and see what happens.
Yeah. Just put McColl, no offense to McColl. I want people to understand that I'm not taking shots at NFL players because they can do things that I couldn't dream of doing. But put McColl Hardman in Tyreek Hill's spot and see what happens. Okay. It's not remotely close to the same thing. And no one's going to be afraid of McColl Hardman in that slot like they are with Tyreek Hill. Okay. So
you want that fear.
He's going to be in Kansas City, even if that means they have to make him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah,
I truly believe
think they will have to. Yeah. And so that it's going to be the sacrifice of Frank Clark and Anthony Hitchinson. How do you balance that? And do you have the horses to fill that in? Thank you, Mark. That was a good question.
It was a good question.
And thank you, Gooch.
That was Sean.
Tipping
actually.
Dan is. Oh, Sean. Sorry. Yeah.
That was Sean's
we hit Mark's, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did that one too.
Okay. Good. Okay. I wanted to make sure. Thank you. Big Test. Nice to see you too. Haven't seen you in a while. Gary Holland's in here. Norman, you guys, if you would take a second, we're not done, but if you guys would jump out and click the like and the sub button if you're not already subbed. That would really help. The thumbs up. It's amazing how YouTube wants to know whether you like this or not. The fact that you're sitting here with us for an hour doesn't seem to register to them. They want to know. So, a couple things I will talk about Diggs. I am concerned. I heard two people that cover the Cowboys talk about them possibly putting Diggs on Kelsey.
That's actually very, very. It makes a lot of sense.
It does. Except for the fact that Kelsey's going to like obliterate him with route running.
What other option do they have? They can't play Jordan Lewis on him because Jordan Lewis, while he's a pretty decent slot guy, he's small. Kelsey will manhandle him. They don't have another option. And they can't put the safeties on him either. They can't put Parsons on him either because Parsons can't cover either. Their best option is to put Diggs on him and probably bracket Tyreek and then say, okay, this is what we got. Who's next?
Yep.
Like, you got to show up. So I think Kelsey's still going to get his, but this is that is their best option of stopping Travis Kelsey, but it's not going to stop him.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thought as well, which is fine by me. It might slow him a little bit because Diggs is very aggressive. He is the one guy, like you said, sizable enough to be physical with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then it becomes who makes it? McColl? Is it Gordon? Is it Pringle? Who will capitalize? I hope that they keep Gray in the thing as well, because especially if you have Gray in the game as an H, you can chip Parsons and do that kind of thing and then do the delayed releases. I think you're going to be in good shape there. But again, it's all wearing it down for the deep strikes. Lachlan, thank you again. We did see that Hunt has said the same thing that, and what he did confirm was something I suspected, but I hadn't seen it confirmed until today, is that they did stop negotiating at the start of the season. So
that was actually encouraging to hear that they haven't been doing it this whole time, that they were just like, both sides were like, okay, we'll stop now and pick it up after. So that's actually an encouraging thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought so too. People were like speculating that it was still ongoing, and that would be strange. Most players want to concentrate. So I like that. It would be fun for you guys to do a Manning cast. I think so too.
I do. I think that would be fun.
That's not a bad idea, Lev. At some point, that's what we should do. We should do a live cast on somebody else's game.
That would be, yes, I'm down for that. I am.
Okay.
I'm so down to do that.
Okay. We'll figure out a way to do that, you guys. And why don't we'll try to make it an AFC West, head to head, Raiders, Chargers, or something.
I think next week is Raiders, Chargers, or no, it's Broncos, Chargers.
Broncos, Chargers. Okay.
Not this week, but next week. Broncos have a bye this week, so it's next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will consider that. Thanks, Lev. That's
a good
actually
idea.
A really good idea. Dang, I should have thought of that. Hit us up for the game tonight on Discord, folks. If you are a member and you're not in Discord, and you want to get in tonight, email me right now, and I will try to load you in there real quick after the stream. This is where you got to send it to right here, rgrpodcasts@gmail. That is how you can get a hold of me. I am going to start. I'm building a solo page. If you guys haven't seen that, it's like Linktree, where it'll be in all the descriptions and everything. It'll be one place where you can go find a bunch of links for all the stuff, and hopefully that will make some lives
That's a
easier.
good idea.
Yeah, maybe it just takes something else that I have to build in the spare time.
I told you, man, get someone to do it for you.
I know. If you'll just start coding HTML, I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's gonna just be something I can just all of a sudden pick up. That's good. Yeah.
Who wins in the cage, Mac? Mahomes or Dak?
That's a question that I'm not prepared to answer.
Are you throwing balls out of the cage?
Yeah, like, are we talking about just like street fight rules?
I mean, because Dak's got a bum wheel. If it's man to man, kill or be killed.
I think Mahomes is like thicker than he is too. Like I don't know how much he's got him by a little bit, but I think that Dak's a bit fleeter of foot. We'll just call it that.
Oh, so nice to put that way. Thank you, Judge. That was a pretty good one. Let's see. What do we got? $250 a ticket for this game. I did not know that.
That's actually a really good price.
Oh, is it? I obviously don't look at prices enough.
Well, I paid like almost $400 a ticket for mine in the Bills game. So
the Bulls.
Yeah.
Red Hood, what's your opinions on Orlando Brown's ceiling? Personally, I think he can be All-Pro, but it doesn't fit the Hall of Fame worthy. Hall of Fame for a tackle is about longevity as much as it is performance. So I can't say anything yet, but I will say this. I have enjoyed the fact that even though I thought it was going to happen week 5 or 6, it looks like he's starting to settle in. It just took longer than I thought. It doesn't mean he's turned into an uber athlete that can kickstep his way back to where Patrick is, but he's starting to adapt in my eyes. Yep. Did you look at his film specifically this week?
Yeah, he was more comfortable jump setting a little bit, and with Mahomes, he trusted Mahomes to get not super far back, so he was able to do a little bit more of the jump setting, attacking where he's most comfortable. That's where he's best, where he can get his hands on you early or make you rethink what you're going to do. That's all about what that jump set is about. Like, you're still going to have your 45s or your verticals, but being able to jump set and take a tackle or a defensive end, off guard and get your hands on him early is where he's best. I don't think he'll ever be an All-Pro. Honestly, I think he's more of a Pro Bowl ceiling type of guy, specifically in this offense. I think it really limits what he can do as a player because it does ask him to do so much physically that he just can't do. So I think he could be a Pro Bowl player, but I don't think All-Pro is in his future here in Kansas City.
Okay. I'll disagree slightly. I think he can get there. I think it's going to be work for him, though. I think he has to come in lighter. I think he has to work on being more nimble specifically. He has to train his feet. Yeah. If he were to do that, I think he still has the opportunity because everything above the waist, he's knocking guys sideways.
Sure.
So
you guys saw that in the film review. He just took the defense Ngakoue and just threw him into the ground. It's all there.
Yeah. Sorry, German. I did.
He did.
Yeah.
He's like, here, do something that you've never ever even attempted in your life, and just do it for me. Yeah, that's probably never going to happen.
We might have to pull Stevie Keys into that. I don't know.
I'll find someone that can do it. I'll do that.
Jimmy, how are you? Like the avatar there, bud. We need to let Clark go sign Ingram if he stays healthy. Draft a corner of the draft. I like that. Let Brown go. Draft a mobile left tackle. I don't know about that one.
They can't let Brown go after investing the draft capital in him. I don't think they can do that.
That's the problem. That pick that they gave up should have gone for that tackle if that's what the plan was going to be.
I'm glad it didn't, though.
I know. Yeah, in that class.
Looking at the tackles that were drafted right there, I mean, maybe Spencer Brown that I really liked, but he wouldn't have been a first-round pick, and now he's on the COVID list. So, but I mean, I like Spencer Brown a lot. He was their start. He's the Bills' starting right tackle right now. So, I mean, there is that.
What's his name? Somebody drafted the kid from Michigan. I can't remember his name. Jalen
Mayfield. Yeah, the Falcons did, and he's a terrible guard.
Oh my God, he's
awful.
I feel bad for him.
I do too. Like, his best bet to succeed was at guard, and he's just being abused.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that's
awful.
how low that class
Yeah,
has dropped out. Who was the kid from Notre Dame whose name I can't remember now?
Liam Eichenberg.
Eichenberg.
He's doing
He's
terrible in Miami too, but he's being.
yeah,
It's
but
not good, man.
now I'm thinking like if he's full time guard, he might be able to do something. But that was a guy that he was one of the top 5 tackles in that
Yeah,
class. That's how bad that class
yeah.
was.
I liked Eichenberg, but again, I think a lot of these have to go with situations.
Hmm.
Miami
Yeah,
is not a
absolutely.
good offense. They're a very bad offensive line too. So you have to figure that these guys are trying to help as much as they can to not only do their job, but other guys' job too. And Mayfield, specifically in Atlanta, a brand new offense, doing something that he's not comfortable doing. He wasn't that great at tackle in Michigan, being a power offensive lineman. He was definitely more of a finesse type of athletic guy. So I think that they're just kind of out of position a little bit in bad situations too. So it's tough, man. It's tough playing in the NFL.
It is. It goes back and forth. What Chiefs player made you become a fan?
Priest
Was there?
Holmes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Priest Holmes was the guy. Him and Trent Green. I loved those two guys. They were my favorites
Yeah.
watching them growing up.
Hey, those are good options. You guys, you probably know this before. If you don't know, I have lived all around the AFC West my whole life. My dad was Navy, so like I've lived in port towns, including Seattle. And it was Derek Thomas's performance against the Seahawks one time when I was still in high school that really stood out to me, and I
Yeah.
started changing at that point. So it all goes back to DT for me. Michael, that's a good point. This isn't like an actual job. This is like a page, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Josh would be interested, but thank you for reminding me about him. I did email him a couple weeks ago about something else, so we'll get back in touch. I'd like to see more screens to Hill and let him make people miss a little bit more. I can understand that, especially if it's like the moving downfield ones, but he's such a target. He steps out of bounds for a reason so that he doesn't take hits, and I think that's
Yeah.
the concern.
I'd rather see him making guys miss over the middle of the field. They still use him a lot as the end around guy and as the quick, the quick pass option. They kind of do a wide receiver screen. If you guys remember this last week, a couple weeks ago, Josh Gordon being on the outside and Hill in the slot. They do that little quick bubble screen to him on off the RPO multiple times, and it gets about 10 yards a time. So that's his best option for a screen is when there's less people there and there's more area for him to move. If you put people in front of him and make offensive linemen have to get in front of him, it lessens his ability to do his work. His best options in the open field. So I really think that wide receiver screens limit his ability to be as explosive as he is.
Although I will say this, Travis seems to want to like pitch the ball. If you're going to run
he
a hook
does.
and ladder, it ought to be to Tyreek. So
Yeah, I'm not. I would love to see. I mean, he was just like, I have vivid memories of him doing it to Jarek against the Titans. Just get something going. Just get something going.
Do something. Todd, you have a very good point. If they leave Diggs out on the side, on the outside by himself, you get any of the smaller guys. Even Pringle can run away from Diggs. He doesn't have that kind of speed and run those deep overs and just drag him out of there. It can certainly work. Goldtow doubles do work on him as well. Somebody asked, I think it was Wink. Yes, it will be Wiley at right tackle. Holly, thank you very much for the support as always. How important do you think it is for the rest of the regular season for the Chiefs to have the W going into their bye week?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't know.
I don't think it's necessarily too important. Their record coming off a bye is really, really good regardless. Andy Reid is one of the best at getting his players ready for coming out of the bye anyway. And for me, this is more about getting themselves back on track. The Raiders played them pretty much exactly how they expected them to. And I think it showed in the game score. It didn't show as much in the game score as I bet that they would have liked, because they could have dropped 70 on the Raiders if they had actually executed. Like if you watch that game from start to finish, oh man, they could have dropped 70. So it's now about this game specifically is taking that confidence that they've built and getting it through the rest of the season, because the bye week, coming off the bye week is what they do every year. They can come off and still win. But this is more for them to show themselves that last week wasn't a fluke.
Right.
Get it right. continue to play at the high level, even if you lose the game. Okay, you need to show yourselves that, look, last week wasn't just because the Raiders played a ton of single high and cover 3 stuff. We were able to take what's in front of us, and we can continue to do that even when the defense makes it more difficult.
And if that does happen, I think that the number one thing is, and you guys have probably seen all the graphics from all the major outlets this week about how Mahomes is still like number 2 in passing yards and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That's all legit. So it all comes down to, if they don't pull this one out, as long as they don't turn the ball over, as long as they're not shooting themselves in the foot, if the defense is caught off guard against a very good Dallas offense, then that's the way that it crumbles. As long as they're not back to giving the games away, I think that will be key.
Yes, very important.
But at the same time, I will say this. I think the positive effect of getting the W going into the bye is 10 times probably more impactful than getting the loss. Like, the loss will bother them. It'll be a frustration. They'll still get the time off. They'll still game plan. They'll still come back strong out of the bye. It's just that if they win in Dallas, they know that they have the AFC West and they have the Bengals. And if they do that, they're this close to being able to make sure that they at least host a home game for the wild card weekend. And if the Titans do start screwing up, that they're right there to take advantage of.
I will say it's at home and it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Dallas is not exactly a cold.
We don't have that Purdy
team.
dome to go over your head.
I'm just saying it could have an impact on the game. We'll find out.
You never know. Justin, I'd like to see a show with Ryan, Dan, Seth, and Chris. Okay, that could be interesting. I don't know if Chris would ever come on here. Chris is not a fan of doing the video thing. It took me a
He's
year.
Really not.
He's really not. It took me a year to get him to do it on the Locked On Chiefs show. So for now, if you guys would go sub to the Locked On Chiefs YouTube, I would appreciate that. He needs the reinforcement, and maybe we can drag him out of there at some point.
At the end of the day, we might have to replace Chris with Matt, and I bet that would be he would want to do that. If Chris wouldn't want to do it, that would be
That's true. I appreciate
something we could do.
Oh, Red, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
Remember back when it was hundreds of subs? Yeah, that was back in the day. You guys know it's been 3 years on RGR already. It's crazy. It's like I used to sleep back then, and I can't remember it.
Yeah, he's got no idea what that feels like anymore.
No, not me. I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's fine. All bono. Do the Chiefs have to draft a DE in the first, or could it be a lot of CB talent? I actually think that this draft class is not shaking out to be as great at defensive end as I thought it was going to. And I think they're about even in terms of total depth of talent with first round grades.
It really depends on where they draft, though, man.
Yeah, but even at the bottom, like Karlaftis has fallen out of the first round for me right now. Because the 2 times he's played guys that are draft, or at least top 100 draft picks, he has not performed well. So I don't know. I'm trying not to put too much performance. This is my first year covering the draft during the college league year. So I'm trying not to read too much into it, but that's where I'm sitting right now.
I don't have him as a first round draft pick anyway. I don't like the way he plays, but when I get more into it, I'll know better. But every time I watch him, I can't stand watching him rush the passer. I can't stand him do anything. Just stands right up. Like I can't stand it. Chris Jones is one of the only guys that can do that, and it's because he plays defensive tackle. So if you want to play defensive tackle in the NFL, George, please go ahead. You can stand straight up all you want to, as long as you can have that speed off the middle. But so for me, it depends on where they draft. If they're drafting near the end of the first round, I don't think you're going to be able to get a defensive end high enough caliber. Okay. Like say if they're at 30 again, within the 30s again, corner might be your best bet, because right now, as it's looking, there's going to be a lot of defensive ends taken in the top 15. At least 3, if not 4.
Say, I think all 3 of them are going to go that I like.
Yeah. Like David Ojabo comes out of nowhere, and now he's being projected as a top 10 draft pick. Okay. It's 1 year, but if you take, I would love the Chiefs to get him in the last part of the first round. But guess what? He is not close to what Spags wants. He doesn't want an athletic speed guy on the edge.
No.
So
I wish he did. I
wish he did too. Ojabo would complement well what he wants to play, but they don't want to do that. So, but again, Aiden Hutchins going top 5. They're having right now. Ojabo's projected as a top 15 draft pick, and Karlaftis is too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
And I know a lot of you guys
cornerback's
are
the best bet.
Oklahoma fans. Nick Benito doesn't fit this team either.
Nope,
I like his
he's
game.
Ojabo too.
Yeah, exactly. I have not watched Inagbare. Is that how you say it? From
I
South
believe
Carolina?
so. South Carolina. Yeah.
I haven't watched him yet. And I'll be watching Panazuic. Is that how you say it, from Michigan State this weekend? So yeah, we will have more
Yeah.
answers for you guys. We're
Yes.
definitely we're ahead of
We've
where
got
we
some
are
names
on
right
most
now,
shooters.
but yeah. I have to do a little
Aaron,
bit more,
thank you for
actually.
putting this out there. Thank you to both Frankie and Stevie for doing some of these things in the Discord that add content here. And folks, if you guys don't know Frankie, that is FLDB, who
Yeah.
set up some instructions and got it on live stream on Discord. So I might have to put that on after I go pick up the kids after this stream. So thank you guys. And thank you, Holly, for helping them out and being so supportive. I love to see you guys come together in the chat, even though I don't read all of it. Sorry. How's our defense, our offense stack up against Denver's defense? Without Vaughn now, there's no Chubb. They have some decent backups. But if the Chiefs don't win by 3 touchdowns, I'm going to be disappointed.
It's a division game. I'm never going to be disappointed when you win by less than 3 touchdowns. But there's something to be said about the Denver organization right now. And you can run the ball on that team. Even though the Cowboys lost to them, they could run the ball.
Yeah.
The Eagles could run the ball. The Eagles, guys, just think about that for a second. The Eagles ran the ball against the Broncos, okay? Granted, Kansas City's not going to do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what I'm saying about the run game. But yeah, they'll be primed to be just fine against the Broncos defense this year, especially because it feels like there's no fighting them right now. There's just none.
Yeah. Scott, we both feel that Noddy should be re-signed. I think that he will as well.
Yeah, I don't know why I've seen some people say that he'll go get paid somewhere else. He's a 2-down defensive tackle who every once in a while has a sack. Like, he's a perfectly good run stopping defensive tackle. He's going to be cheap to re-sign. There's no reason that he should leave Kansas City.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm dumb.
Aaron, thanks for reminding me. Frankie just re-signed. So
awesome, man. Thank
13
you so much.
months. Man, you guys are keeping
great.
us going around here. Especially in the summer when things slow down and people are just like bored of content. Like, we appreciate you. You guys keep us going and the ability to keep doing this. It really does help. And Xanax, you had a very good point. Not only did they need a shutdown corner, they need a corner because Travarius Ward, this is his last year under contract. I do not expect them to re-sign him.
Nope.
So you're talking about just having, in terms of competence, we don't know about Baker yet, in my opinion.
No, we don't.
I think Hughes has shown you that he's probably not a starting level player. So you have Fenton and Snead. Right? That's a hole, I think.
You guys thought that the quarter was bad before the season started this year.
Yeah.
No,
they even more frustrated.
But you're also going to have no defensive ends. Like, they're going to have no defensive ends and no corners after this season's over. You know what I mean?
2
no corner
of
depth.
the 4 primary positions.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, "Hi guys," and they haven't invested in them in high draft picks either. This is why you kind of have to, so that when you have free agents, you got guys on 5-year deals that are relatively cheap.
Right.
But right now you almost have to let go of Frank Clark. Alex Okafor's done. He's not coming back. Then you have Mike Tana and Josh Kando. Like, that's your defensive ends. Maybe, and then Melvin Ingram's gone too. Like, you don't have any defensive ends.
Yeah. It's difficult. I think it's such a position that it feels like they're going to have to do it in free agency.
They're going to have to do both. I think they're going to bring a corner in, they're going to bring a defensive end in, and they're going to have to draft both positions next year with day 1 and 2 picks. They have to.
Yeah. Top 100s easily.
Yep.
No more screwing around. You got lucky with Snead to get a 4th round to be this kind of player. You got lucky. That's not to say they didn't do their work. The front office did a good job scouting him. They projected him. They interviewed him so they knew what they were getting in terms of mental capability and the makeup of having to work through that. But that's still, you don't find that every year. So, hey, welcome. Najee, hope you're having fun down in Florida. I think you're getting less rain than Seattle is right now. So, Lachlan, thank you again. Mahomes 14 days wins against the Cowboys. Hey, I hope you're right. More power to you.
Be awesome.
Tom, thank you very much. Appreciate you. You had a question on a different one. I'm going to grab that here in a second after Stevie's. 13 juicy months. Thank you, Stevie, as always. Thanks for, and you guys, Frankie had experience, helped the guys set everything up. I did very, very little to the Discord. This has been the pet project of Aaron, Stevie, and Gooch and Frankie. So thank you very much. Let's see, where'd Tom go? There went Tom. Do you think that that this game could be a Super Bowl preview? It's possible. It's definitely possible, especially in the AFC.
Yeah.
Anything could happen this year.
Yeah. Anything could happen. The NFC is really top heavy, but the AFC is just like, who's going to be good? Like, who's good? We don't really know. I think I think the Titans are kind of, I really think they're fluking their way through right now. I don't think they're as good as their record is. I refuse to believe it. And the Bills have lost to the Jaguars. The Chiefs have not performed throughout the season. Like, the AFC is just, the Ravens aren't very good. It's just so weird. But I think the NFC has clear cut for the most part, top couple teams. But again, the Rams have faltered. The Cardinals just haven't played.
The Bucks just lost. Who'd they lose to last week?
The footballs. They watched the footballs,
yes,
man.
The footballs. Yeah.
Just so lately, I mean, even Dallas had a nothing burger against the Cowboys, or excuse me, against the Broncos. Like,
right.
They just this has been one of the most unpredictable seasons that I think that I've paid this much attention to in a very, very long time. Like, it's just, you don't know who's going to win or lose each week.
Yeah, it's truly competitive in a bad way.
Yeah,
Andy, thank you for your attitude. I hope that you carry that out and say hi to the team for me. Appreciate that. Flapjack, Cowboy trash. This is a personal game, Dak.
Why is it a personal game? I don't understand that.
I don't know either. There's also this baked in thing that I haven't heard many people talk about, that Patrick was a Cowboys fan growing up, evidently.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's what he's talking about.
Maybe that's something too. I hope so. I like to get those little bits and pieces in there that motivate people that you don't hear about all the time. Josh, your thoughts on Jeffcoat from Mizzou? Also, which CB do you want and which wide receiver of Dallas? Yeah. I mean, Snead's got to follow Lamb around as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so.
He's the only one that won't get wrecked.
Yeah, and then you're going to have to like almost bracket Cooper, because that means I think Cooper's a really good route runner. I think that you have to let Fenton be a little more physical with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a hamstring injury. Like, as much as I would hate to just be that guy, you got to let him be a little physical with a guy who's a little banged up. Make him work for everything. Like most defenses have made Kelsey work for everything earlier in the season. You have to make Cooper work. If he's a little hurt, be a little more physical with him and make him get open. You have to make him get open. So I don't know, but I agree with you. I think Snead needs to follow Lamb, and everyone else just needs to be a little bit more physical with the other guys. Like, Gallup is the deep threat dude, I think.
Yeah, like I would let Fenton beat him up early in the route and bracket him over the top.
Yeah,
and call that probably done, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't know.
And honestly, I'm sorry, it's Josh. I haven't seen Jeffcoat from Mizzou.
I haven't watched him either. He'll definitely be probably on the list later, but he is in my rankings right now, he's number 315 in production. So he's got to really show me something on film to be something. Yeah. Let's see. Aaron, thank you for reminding me of that. Appreciate that. If you guys would check out the Locked On Chiefs as well, and if you would like and sub, if you're not already over here, and if you guys share on social media, if you're out there, I don't do the Facebook thing very much. So if you want to tell people out there about us, I appreciate that. Well, I'm very Twitter based because it's just easy in and out and no drama.
Oh yeah, that's why you don't stay on Twitter.
Yeah, you read comments. I don't.
Yeah, I am on Twitter. Ryan is just kind of like posting them out.
I'm just here. If y'all want it, cool. If not, no big deal. Whataburger, 6-hour waits. Are you guys kidding me? Good
When
Lord.
they opened in Kansas City area, yeah, that's what they have been.
It's just a burger, you guys. Make one at home. It'll be better. Dang.
You're right.
I
You're
know,
so
right? Let's see. Oh, and Gooch got it now too. 13s, lucky 13s for these guys. Man,
That's awesome.
it is fun. Not to ignore the rest of your question. If anybody was asking, I think I missed one about wide receiver that I'd like to see. A lot of people were talking about Drake London. I think that's a great fit for an X. I'm not concerned about his injury. It was a bone.
Yeah.
So not soft tissue, not ligamentous, not concerned about that at all. I don't like I'm not as big on, is it Burke from Arkansas that's gotten a lot of hype lately?
Burks, yeah.
Burks,
Travion Burks, yeah.
Like, I like what he does, and he has shown some breakaway speed with
I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah.
I'm worried about his separation. I don't think he creates a lot of separation. And honestly, his speed is not game speed. I know he might come off as like 20 plus mile an hour, but if you watch him, he's not pulling away from everybody. He just kind of gradually gets that touchdown.
He's not London.
Yeah. London is different. He's a
Yeah.
better route runner for a guy his size. He creates a little bit more separation. He's better at the catch point, and I think that they're relatively the same at speed. And London is a guy who would get down and dirty and block you. He's a big dude, physical guy who can block. I don't see Burks doing that. So if it came down to picking one or the other, I know Andy's going to pick a guy who can block because that's just what he does.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Bison cheeseburgers, Matt Francis. I like the way you're thinking.
That's it. That's the stuff right there.
Ooh, there's a Bison Ranch about 30 minutes from me, and I'm just waiting for those guys to grow up so they're ready. I'm just saying. Let's see. Last super chat. Andy Reid again. Thank you, Andy. I'm going to fire Spags and hire you if you're up for that. You know I'm up for it, Andy, and you know I've written you about this too. I can come in and do quality control tomorrow if you want me to. So, yeah. Thank you, Andy Reid. I appreciate that. Thank you all for your support tonight. Thank you for the super chats. Check out the store if you guys like. There's some good stuff in there. I'm trying to get some of those done in my spare time, the new stuff for Christmas and everything. Got a couple of cool designs that I like. I don't know if anybody else will like them, but I guess you guys will tell me when you see them. So keep an eye out for that as well. We're going to get ready for Thanksgiving. We're going to do that kind of thing. The schedule will be as determined.
A little wonky.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit weird, but I'm going to have family here. So it may be loud. It may be shorter things, but we'll still be here for you. We're looking forward to it. Thank you for spending your Thursday night with us, Dan. Thank you for filling in admirably for Seth.
No problem. I hope everyone didn't get too upset about it. I know that
Gooch,
there were a couple of people working in here looking for Seth, but yeah, no worries. He will be back next week. Every once in a while, we got to make a little guest appearance on the Chief in the North. So I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. And Frankie, thank you. For those of you that are members and are in the Discord, hit the button at the top, and that'll be the watch party. So go check that out. That's starting soon, I guess.
Yeah,
when the game starts. Rock and roll. All right. You all have a great night. In the morning will be my keys. In the afternoon will be Roguehead Huddle with Stevie and Gooch. The picks pool for the members comes out on Saturday. And I may just do a little bit of a rant for the members tomorrow as well. So keep your eyes peeled. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you later. I don't rant as well as Dan, but I try. I just can't do it without getting on a 12-letter word thing. I'm still going, huh? Okay. So we're still talking about that.